Hello, you beautiful, wonderful people. I just want to quickly give a warning before I go into anything in this video and say that in this video, I will be speaking about some extremely sensitive topics. And whilst I will be making jokes to, you know, make this more comfortable for me and make it more comfortable for you, overall, these topics are very sensitive and could upset a lot of people out there. So that is just a warning. And, you know, let's get into this video. Now, on social media, there are two big paths that you can personally take as a creator. There is path number one, where you are a spectacular, wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous human being whose sole goal is to make people laugh, have an entertaining time, and just in general, make their day that little bit better. Kind of like yours truly. And now there is also the second path, which is not really the most spoken about one, but it is indeed the dark side, also known as becoming a Minecraft YouTuber. Which actually isn't that bad. You guys probably expected me to say something much worse here, and yes, there is actually the third path, which is the real unspoken one. Unspoken to a point of which actually kind of worries me, the fact that these people are still on social media. And that is obviously... it's being a criminal. Like an actual criminal.
What do I do? First thing comes to mind, like, I gotta address this. I can't let this go. Like, I gotta say something about this. I hop on Twitter right away and I'm like, you know what? We love a scandal. Just to play along with it, just to make a little joke, just so people know, like, I know what's going on. I seen it, whatever. So I said, we love a scandal.
Yeah. Didn't exactly age too well, that. But then again, Tony's never really worried about age.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But this is Tony Lopez, a massive TikToker, and I mean a very, very big boy. And not in that way, no, not in that way. By big boy, I mean he's got 22 million followers, and he's a big, nasty boy on TikTok. Nasty being the fact that this guy is actually a self-admitted predator.
I know it was wrong. And I'm just gonna hold myself accountable and responsible for some past immature decisions.
And he's got 22 million followers and he's still concurrently getting 10 million views per average TikTok. In the summer, this guy was basically exposed for messaging explicit, illegal things to 15-year-old girls when he was almost 21 years of age. So basically, it's another Zoe Laverne situation. And now a lot of people may say, well, this situation happened a long time ago, you know, it's irrelevant now, you don't need to talk about it, which is completely wrong and exactly the problem which I'm going to be speaking about today. The fact that people aren't speaking about the fact that a guy who admitted to being a predator is still on the platform getting millions of views.
First of all, just want to come on here and, as a young man, take accountability and...
I mean, sorry to interrupt here, but Jesus Christ, how could he sound any less caring in this video? I mean, he is saying this guy does not care. Listen to his mannerisms, man.
Just want to come on here and, as a young man, take accountability and...
How can anyone pretend to care like this? It's almost shameless. I almost feel like I'm being baited.
responsibility for my actions and know that they were wrong. Understand how shitty I feel.
Tony, no one cares. No one cares that you're feeling like that. I mean, I'm looking at that background and I'm thinking you are living in LA in a nice mansion, probably with millions and millions of dollars in the bank. I don't care how you're feeling, buddy. Especially with what you've been exposed for. I just don't care.
Don't care, still don't care.
I'm actually quite surprised that he's saying he's feeling shitty, because to be honest, I feel like he should be feeling over the moon. The guy was literally caught breaking a crime which should technically land him in jail, but because he's a millionaire, it hasn't. And he's living in a mansion in LA, still getting millions of views of TikTok. Now, yeah, this situation came out in the summer last year, and I kind of went under the mindset of I'm gonna wait and see what happens, even though it's pretty much proven, and just kind of give time for the situation to boil out and see if more people come out about it. And there are these exposed DMs, and they are truly horrific. I'm not gonna show the worst ones, they are blurred out, but here's him saying, "My baby," and "Your face is kissable." He said this to a 15-year-old girl. At the age of 20. He was almost 21. And he's not in jail. Alexa, what's the age of consent in Los Angeles?
18 years old.
Oh, That's funny. It's funny you say that, Alexa. That's funny you say that. Now, I do fully understand that the starting of this video has been a bit explosive. I've kind of given you guys a lot of information, just dumped it on your brain, and just expect you to kind of process it. And that's mainly because I wanted to come into this basically letting you know immediately that this guy is a predator. Because when you go and look at the guy's social medias, whilst there are some people that are criticizing him, there are so many positive comments towards this bloke, and it's genuinely disturbing, especially with the fact that he has admitted to these crimes. He's been proven to have committed these crimes, and nothing happened.
I know it was wrong, and I'm just gonna hold myself accountable and responsible for it.
Now, this is a problem. Obviously, it's absolutely disgusting in any sort of context, but what is even more of a problem is this guy has 22 million followers, mostly being young, impressionable teenage girls. And these people are much more easy to be manipulated than a regular adult because their brains haven't developed yet, and that really does show given the fact that, as I keep saying, he is still doing extremely well on TikTok. I mean, look at his YouTube channel. As much as he hasn't uploaded recently, it doesn't seem to exactly be affected. Look at the comments, the most recent ones, the likes. It's baffling that no one seems to care about this guy, just like Zoe Laverne. In one of my latest spectacular masterpieces of a video, I got a lot of comments saying if the roles were reversed in this situation, people would be even more mad. And now, I don't know if I can actually believe that, because they're both doing extremely well on TikTok, like disturbingly well. It's crazy. And I think that really does get into this conversation we need to have about what are these major corporations and platforms actually doing about criminals on their own platform. And we will get into that, but I do just quickly want to request, and this might seem a bit out of timing, but can you please just subscribe to the YouTube channel? I'm trying to hit 600,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I will be covering these topics in the future. I understand that YouTube kind of suppressed these sort of videos because they are very sensitive topics, so I'd really appreciate any support possible. But yeah, let's get into a recent article that came out from Forbes, basically stating that TikTok is still failing to tackle alleged child predators, according to the BBC. BBC Panorama explained that TikTok is very slow to act on predators. They even implemented their own test trials to kind of see if this was the case, and it very much was proven, despite TikTok saying the app is a very safe place to be. Clearly not, because TikTok, as much as you say this app is a safe place to be, there are some dangerous people with 20+ million followers on your app, and you're not suppressing that. In fact, to me, it seems like these people are getting into the algorithm, they're getting promoted, and they're gaining more fans, young, impressionable fans. I mean, regardless of any of the context we've spoken about today, how can anyone with a straight face say that TikTok is a safe place to be when this content is getting 10+ million views? I mean, without the context of the situation, it still is extremely depressing that this is getting 2.9 million likes and 18 million views for doing, oh, look at me, I can dance. But also, there's more. I'm a criminal. I mean, does this person stood next to Mr. I Text 15-year-olds realise who she stood next to? It's crazy. People are still collabing with the dude. Where's the shame? Do you not have parents? As I said, look at the views on his TikTok. Can you tell me that TikTok is really taking predators seriously on their application when such significant figures on the app are still, let's be real people, they're still thriving. They're still getting millions and millions of clicks every single day. How can TikTok lie and say that they're trying to take these situations seriously and this is a safe app to be? Clearly not. Clearly not. Even your curators are dangerous. And also, I have to say, obviously, it's not all creators, but there are a lot of disturbing cases with this app. And now, as I said earlier, Tony Lopez did admit to pretty much everything in the situation. He tweeted out a good old Notes app apology, which is obviously the main source of genuine and real sorrow in a situation. You know, when you're really feeling bad about something, just whip out the old iPhone, get that Notes app out, and all will be sorted. And if you're wondering, oh, why did I go on Twitter and apologize about it and not on TikTok? It's because it's because on Twitter, they don't have half the audience they have on TikTok in comparison. It's basically a minute, if not even his audience on Twitter in comparison to TikTok. TikTok is so many people, whereas Twitter is mainly the people that will cancel the guy.
But I have to understand this and learn from it, grow from it. I'm not gonna hide and run away.
Tony is basically using traditional manipulator tactics here. He's basically putting out a bunch of buzzwords saying, "Ooh, I'm learning from my mistakes. I'm gonna grow and become a better person." If you hear some bad people say these words, just know half the time they don't actually mean anything because they're buzzwords that influencers use to make people and their audience think, "Oh, they're learning, they're changing." No, they're just manipulating you into thinking that.
I know what was wrong, and I'm just going to hold myself accountable and responsible for some past immature decisions.
They were immature decisions. They weren't immature decisions. They were illegal decisions. You broke the law. You should be in jail. I'm baffled that you're not. I'm laughing because this situation is absolutely crazy. And I just don't understand how are you still managing this? How are you still putting your face on the internet after this? It's shameless. Just leave, man. Do some good in the world. If you truly cared, you would leave. But clearly you don't, and you're just a big old manipulator.
Forward and learning and growing. You know, some people don't teach you about how to live this lifestyle or how to be...
Well, actually, Tony, they actually do teach you about these things. It's called Law and Order in the United States of America. Basically, when you become a human being, when you're born, you learn about these things called laws, legalities, order, the police, things you shouldn't do. You're told about them at a very young age, mate. And I think you know this. And also, buddy, look at me. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Come on. You are a big old groomer, but at least you could do is look at me in the eyes. Tony, I get it. I am 23 years old and I am a bit too old for you. But you know, you could just look at me. And I know you're not looking because you are disingenuous and you don't even believe anything you're saying. You've got these buzzwords out because you feel like if you say these things of, "Oh, I'm growing, I'm gonna become a better person." You say that in situations where, I don't know, you had an old tweet. You had an old tweet and you're gonna become a better person because that was 6 years ago. Okay, but the difference is, old tweets, grooming. You can't really put them together.
Just gonna grow as a young man and keep moving forward and not make the same decisions and understand myself as a person. I've never had malicious intent, ever.
But what you've done is malicious. You have, as an adult, broken the law, which is legally and morally wrong. You claim to not be malicious, but I'm sorry, but you have broken one of the worst laws possible, which just shows that you are malicious. He even went on to make a Notes app apology, stating that his actions are extremely irresponsible. Irresponsible is a word for it. Irresponsible is a low, undercutting, possible worst word you could use for this situation to describe it. Irresponsible isn't the word, is it? It's not irresponsible, it's illegal. It's illegal. And it's actually mental to me that these millionaires don't go to jail. And I think that's literally the only reason. They've got significant influence and they are millionaires. And it's disgusting. He pushed this narrative of being new to the entertainment and LA scene and said that he's quickly learning that you can't believe everything that you are told. I mean, Chief, there's literally proof, a screenshot, a DM of you admitting, realizing that she is young. I'm sorry, mate. You can't play that card. You can't. And then a fan of his came to his defense saying, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes at some points in our lives. This isn't a mistake, and this is something which he has really embedded into his audience's mind by manipulating them. He has tried to pretend that he's only made a little mess up, a little mistake, and now he's gonna learn to become a better person. And his audience eat that up. They go and eat that up, because that is what these impressionable fan bases do. It's not a mistake. You don't need to have 22 million followers to understand that grooming is morally wrong. And it's mad to me that his apology for his old bad tweets was better than his apology for grooming. But even in that situation, he was again disingenuous after a week later following those tweets up with "jealousy is just love and hate at the same time. Join the Tony Lopez clout chasing train." Here, Tony Lopez has basically performed a very predatory textbook tactic of where they will implant this belief into their young, impressionable fans that what people are doing when they're criticizing Tony is clout chasing. He has convinced his audience that by me saying these things, I am merely doing this to get attention and get views. By doing that, his fans will then dismiss this very bad criticism and just say, oh, you're a clout chaser, you're a hater. And yes, I am very much vehemently a disliker of this man, because what he has done is extremely wrong, and I immensely disagree with it, as does most people on this planet, thankfully.
I know it was wrong, and I'm just gonna hold myself accountable and responsible for some past immature decisions.
Saying things like this only proves to me personally that Tony Lopez is extremely disingenuous and doesn't believe a single thing that he's saying. He's just slightly putting off a little bit of remorse so he convinces his teen impressionable young girl audience that he feels a little bit sorry and he's going to become a better person, when we all know it's just an act. And TikTok will seemingly do absolutely nothing. The comments are nothing but praise for this guy on his YouTube channel, which I know is a different platform, but even on TikTok, as I said, he is doing extremely well. I am calling out all platforms to take a look at this guy and think, do we really want this on our app? To conclude this video, I feel like I'm just going to say, cancel culture does not exist. It is a joke. It is a complete joke, because when it truly needs to exist, it clearly does not work. It does not work. And by cancel culture, I mean the culture to actually cancel somebody that truly does deserve it. I fully understand there are people out there that have been wrongfully accused and wrongfully called out for things which simply aren't true. But at the end of the day, the culture is referring to the people that have actually committed these awful actions. And to be honest, I just see Tony Lopez and I see Lois Zavern, and I think they're not really getting any repercussions, and they are just getting away with it. Albeit they are getting some hate comments here and there, and some of their top comments are, you know, extremely negative, but at the end of the day, they are still doing well on this app. Tony has even gone to the point of making it so you can't duet and stitch his TikToks, because he's fully aware if he does that, people on the app will call him out and therefore spread the word that this guy is a predator. Now, what I want to do before I end this video is say I would be very grateful if you shared this video, got it out there and made people aware of this guy's actions. And the same goes for my Zoe Laverne video. Like this video, comment, and help the video get pushed so more people can learn about these sick people. But that is the ending of the video. Thank you so much for coming along. I've been nice all week, and now I feel like we needed to talk about a very serious problem on this application. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if it was a bit depressing, but albeit, I want to talk about these topics because they matter to me and I'm sure they matter to you. Please don't forget to follow my social medias at inabber on Instagram and inabber69 on Twitter, inabber on Twitch, inabber TV or inabber live on YouTube. It's all there, as is my YouTubes. Thank you so much for coming to this video. Thank you so much for watching it. Have a great day. I'm probably just going to go and sleep now. Good night. Peace out. Take it easy.
bruh.